Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about jobs and how employers are changing the way that they screen applicants for them. New York City working on a bill that would ban employers from running credit checks on job applicants. And up the Hudson in Newburgh, well, there's a push to ban the box on job applications. It refers to the yes box on applications that people with criminal records have to check off. Newburgh City Council considering whether to remove that question altogether. And several states banning prospective employers from requiring social media passwords from applicants. New York is working on a bill that so far hasn't gotten anywhere. All right, I get it. Jail, prison, it's for rehabilitative purposes. You do your crime. If you do your time, you should have a shot when you get out. Let me give a tough analogy. You're looking for a job to fill in your controller's position or accountant within your business. Would you like to know if the person has an embezzlement felony conviction before you hire the person? What about somebody that you're entrusting in some kind of child care capacity or not here? If, God forbid, they were involved in some abuse related to a child or not, should that be something that an employer should know about before they're hired? I know there'll probably be exceptions to everything, but the point is, this isn't as simple as to say, hey, you know what? The fact of the matter is people are getting locked out of jobs here before they even get a chance to get through the process. But should the employer know before they say yes or no to a hire?
If I could put my business hat back on, I found hiring good people very difficult. And already in a very long career, toward the end, you were now constrained with a lot of legal issues. If you called someone up and said, would you hire Phil back again? And if you got
lost him right there.
Right hesitancy, you knew,
yeah.
But there was legal liability to say anything worse. Now you can't find out anything. Criminal record, I think that would be important on many jobs. Other behavioral problems, this guy's been in and out of rehab 9 times, will you take the chance? I would be opposed to this, but I
sense you want to take the other side.
Well, it's easy to look at the worst case example, the worst case scenario, and say, well, if somebody's stolen, then I want to be able to find out about it on a criminal background check. But more often than not, the reasons for somebody getting in trouble in one of these areas is much more benign. The leading cause of bankruptcies, which would appear on a credit report, is either the health problems, divorce, or death in the family. More often than not, a criminal record is things like we saw with the back alimony or the back child support in the case in South Carolina recently. Those are things that are going to pop up on a criminal background check or on a credit check. And as an employer, if you see that, even if it's minor, you're still going to think negatively about that applicant, even though that indication has nothing to do with their capacity to do the job. Well, and you wind up with people who can't get work.
There are, though, when you're trying to paint a picture. How about you're the applicant who gets passed over? Meanwhile, the applicant who gets the gig has shown absence of judgment, has shown absence of responsibility. Let's say you're trying to hire somebody and you're up for the job, and it turns out the next person after you's got 3 DWIs, right? And I don't find out about this. Wouldn't you argue you're more qualified than that person?
I would hope that my record and my resume would stand on its own. I'm also not going to find out about that guy's criminal background check because I don't know who you're going to wind up hiring in that position after I put in for it. So it's.
What do you think?
Well, first of all, Richard, I think it's great you hired Andrew because I know his credit rating is pretty poor.
I just needed to know, and then I took the lead.
So there's an example right there where it doesn't make any difference.
I've got an
A&P there you go. Well, I mean, the thing with the buy, let's take the criminal record thing. That's a yes or no, right, on an application. And if you're honest and you were arrested and went to jail or something, I think it's actually a point in your favor that you would check off yes, because I would imagine most people are checking off no regardless of what their background is. And, so I guess the problem with that is if somebody checks off yes, they're not going to get to the interview process. That's it. They don't have a chance to even explain it.
I would like, Dom, if they'd listen to him, but how about the toughest one for me? Wait a minute, why do I have to give over my password if I'm looking to get a job? But at the same end, say you're hiring a salesperson. that person's, all of a sudden you go to their Facebook page, there's a bunch of stuff there. They've chosen to show the discretion or lack thereof. They're showing topless photos, whips and chains, whatever it is. Wouldn't you think that that would, certainly impact their ability to sell or whatever else, how
Depends on
they
what the
conduct
position
themselves?
is.
Fair enough.
Well, Richard, whether we agree or not in terms of an employer being able to look at your Facebook, that train has already left the station a long time ago. Major companies, whether you like it or not, whether we consider it legal or not, you have to turn over and you have to sign disclosure forms that they can look at your social media
Well, they're trying to prevent that
anytime.
now.
Right, they're trying, but they're not as of yet. Now, as it relates to New York City and bad credit and being able to look at your credit, I just don't know how automatically bad credit means bad job performance. And so the problem, so in New York City, you have a mayor that says, I'm for this. You can't check the credit score, but I want to be able to check the credit scores of police officers that I hire and also fire inspectors. And so you have Melissa Mark Viverito, the city council speaker, has said this is her top legislative agenda. So it may happen in New York City. We'll see.
Interesting. All right, and we want you to get involved in our conversation. Head over to Facebook and Twitter and answer a question tonight. Should employers be allowed to run credit checks on job applicants? And a quick programming note, tomorrow night, Christine Quinn will be here, former city council speaker and mayoral candidate. Will join us for an extended conversation. All right, coming up next, though, we're going to take a look at ourselves. The media, in the wake of the Rolling Stone debacle, has the whole game changed, and for the worse? Well, we'll get into that and more after this.